Hey everybody. Hey everybody. How are you today? Welcome to Introducing Podcast. I hope you can hear me well. Let me know in the comments. We had a storm here and it looks like my internet is a little wonky. So let me know how I'm coming through. Let me know. Welcome to Introducing Podcast. I appreciate you guys being here with me today. I have another great episode for you. Thank you, Corlin, for letting me know that you can hear me. Um, we have a great episode. I'm super duper excited. Today we are talking about, we're continuing our conversation on the universal laws. And as I always do, I usually ask, this is week 5 of 12. So we have done 4 laws already. And I would ask what they are, but I'm going to give it to Patricia Glenn because she came in. She was ready today. So we have already covered these 4 laws: the law of oneness that says that we are all connected, the law of vibration that says that everything vibrates. There is a frequency for everything: your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. And we're going to talk about that today. The law of correspondence, which says, as within, so without. Right. So again, building on the laws, the law of correspondence says, as within, so without, meaning your inner world, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. And when you heal your inner world, then you ultimately create a healed outer world. And then last week we talked about the law of attraction, aka the secret, which says you attract, you become a magnet. But as I talked about last week, you are a magnet to the things that you are, not to the things that you want. Right? So we call it the law of attraction because you're going to attract that which you vibrate, that which your internal state is, right? Vibration correspondence. And today we are talking about the law of inspired action. Move with purpose, the law of inspired action. And I'm really excited about today because guess what? That's what I talk about. I actually have that in my book. Boom, boom, boom. Do the work, keep the faith. This book resonates with, it corresponds to this law. And I cannot make these things up. When I wrote the book, there's a section in there where I kind of go through the laws, and not as in depth. I kind of give you kind of like cliche statements, one-liner statements that kind of go with each law. And what I have for the law of inspired action is do the work. I'm just saying that's what it is. So we're talking about the law of inspired action and what that really means for us. Okay, what does that really mean for us? The law of inspired action says that you have to do the things that are aligned with you. You have to do the things that are aligned with you. That is what the law of inspired action is about. That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what that looks like, how to recognize it, and how it shifts everything. This law shows us that intention is only part of the formula. Your intention is only part of the formula, but the implementation is where the transformation lies. The implementation is where the transformation actually happens. And so the key is that we just not just take action, but we take inspired action that feels rooted in who you truly are, what your faith is, what you're aligned with. It's not out of busyness or fear. And we talked about that last week again with the law of attraction. You cannot attract out of a space of desperation. You have to be in a space of anticipation. So again, that's what we're talking about. All right. So this law Listen, what was say? What was say? I love the camaraderie in the classroom. You guys keep talking to one another. Keep talking to one another. All right. You become an active partner with the universe. That's what we're talking about today. Okay. So, the law of inspired action is the law that meaningful change happens when you act from alignment. When you do the work from a place of wanting to heal, when you do the when you do the work from a place of seeking to be your authentic self, then you ultimately will align. You so there's an alignment that happens. All right. And manifestation, so the things that you want to see fulfilled in your life, sometimes requires motion. And we're going to talk about what motion is, because motion is not always what we think it is. It's not always that you are doing something. um it's not always a physical doing something like we're used to, right? I used to say the work is you. So this work, these motions usually kind of, they have to resonate from you, and of course they have to come from you. And the inspiration, like, what does that look like? You're like, Chris, what, how do I know it's inspired action? How do I know I'm not just making up things to do? Then you will feel it. And that's why it's really important to tap into yourself. That's why it's really important to be present to you, because at this point, right, the inspired action you're only going to know it's inspired because you're going to feel it within yourself. It's going to feel like a pull or a nudging or a knowing that you have. Okay. It's not going to feel like pressure. It's not like you have to move because you didn't pay your rent type. It's not pressure, right? It's, oh, I need to move. Something's telling me I need to move. Right? Those are two different things. Two different things. You don't move because you didn't pay your rent. You're moving because something is telling you it's time to move into a new location. All right. And you don't have to know the whole plan. Let's be clear on that. You do not have to know the whole plan. You just have to move when it's time to move. Okay. All right. So, again, I do meditation. Meditation does help you tune in and get into alignment with what you're doing. And that can be considered an action in itself, meaning you're being inspired to meditate. But then after you meditate, what message did you get? What is it that you need to do? Are you creating something? Are you applying for something? What is it that you got? What message did you get now that you can take that resonance that you felt and now bring that into the physical realm and do something that's going to help to bring in the things that you want. Okay. All right. So, um let's say, why, so you becoming the co-creator with, you become an active partner with the universe. That's how that works. That's how you become the active partner with the universe, by actually doing the work. Once you get the message, then you go forth and you do the work, whatever it is that resonates with you. And that's why it's important. I say you have to do what resonates with you. All right. All right. So the truth is, you cannot wish or wait for change. You have to move in alignment with what you say you want. You cannot want to have new habits, and if you don't do the actions, right? I cannot say that I want to get fit and healthy and be strong if I don't go to the gym. That's just not going to happen. I can't wish or wait for that change. You can't wish or wait for health. You can't even wish and wait for love in those senses. You have to go out sometimes, and you have to put yourself in places, in spaces where you can meet people. So you can't just, this is not a solitude situation. Okay. You can't meditate the things that you want into. Now, unless you get really good now, you start summoning some things, but that's most people, you have to do some work. And that's just the bottom line. Okay. So what we don't want to do is to overwork ourselves and thinking that we have to do so many things to to reach a point. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens is a lot of times people get burnt out. They hustle. I was there. Hustle hard, hustle hard. And it's so funny because today was a busy day for me. Actually, my mom, I had like boop, 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 all day. And my mom was like, you spreading yourself thin. And I was like, I don't, I don't work like that every day though. That's the key. And guess what? She took a nap in between all of those things. And all of those things were in alignment with what it is that I need to do. Because what happens too, when you are in alignment with what you're supposed to do, there's an energy that is created with that. So you all of a sudden can do things that you probably didn't think that you could do before. That's true. You can do things that you didn't think that you could do before because you have it's inspired action. Everything that you need, right, will be provided to you. What does it say in the book? In the good book, it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? You can do the work with and because God's going to give you the energy to do those things that are inspired by being your authentic self. Okay. All right. Actions from fear is not alignment. If you're doing it again, the resonance, are you doing it out of desperation? Are you doing it out of anticipation? Are you doing it out of fear? Or are you doing it out of love? Okay. And inspired action equals taking steps from silence, stillness, clarity, and faith. So that's what I was saying. You're meditating and then you go and you work. But you have to get still in order to know where it's coming from. If you're always moving, right? If you're always doing, then how much attention are you paying to yourself to know what you should be doing? And that's where a lot of times people get confused or conflicted in life because they are so busy with the doing, they don't stop to see what they should be doing before they just start doing. So are you being busy or are you being brave? Are you being busy or are you being brave? That's a good question. Are you being busy or are you being brave? Again, inspired action, action that feels rooted in the truth of who you are. It's not from busyness or fear. You're not afraid to do this work. You know what it takes. Okay. You are actually very excited to do the work. You do it with joy. You do it with a smile on your face. You do it, you know, with great anticipation, knowing that it's going to pay off. I went to the gym last night and I worked out for an hour and 10 minutes and I was like, yes. I was but I had the energy. I was inspired, right? Something from within and I got through. My coach would be very proud of me. I pushed myself, okay? I did. Maybe not as hard as he would have pushed me, but I definitely pushed myself. And so it wasn't out of busyness or fear. It wasn't like something I have to do. It's something I wanted to do. I went to a meeting and then I went to the gym and I was like, meeting, I gotta go because I gotta go to the gym. And so that that action now has become a part of who I am. So it was inspired action. And see, sometimes about an inspired action, I'm going to say this, is that sometimes it's hard, right, to get into that space because you may be inspired to do something you don't want to do. I'm the queen of that. Who knows me? You know me, right? You may you will you may run into you may be inspired to do things you don't want to do. Oh my god. You may be inspired to do things you don't want to do. What do you do in that spot? Because you don't want to do it, you got to figure out why you don't want to do it. Where is that resistance coming from, right? Where is that resistance coming from? Because that will determine what that is. Blank screen. All right. So the myth, hustle without purpose is burnout, and we don't want that. And alignment from fear. Again, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. All right. All right. Trust that every step taken in faith becomes a bridge to alignment. And that's what I was just saying. Sometimes you get the message that you get inspired to do something you don't want to do. When you get inspired to do something you don't want to do, that's when you have to keep the faith. Oh my goodness gracious. That's when you have to do the work and keep the faith. And that's part of this. That's part of, oh my God. I did not know that. When I'm speaking, and as I'm speaking, I'm having this revelation because it's coming to me and I'm understanding. And again, this is how it all works for me. Like the understanding and the knowing of God's wisdom and knowledge is just pouring into me. And I just don't know. It just connects like a dot. You take the step in faith and it bridges with the alignment. Aligning with your authentic self, you have to take those actions. You have to do the work that is you and have faith at every step, at faith that at every turn, at every dark corner, right? At every dark corner that you see that's your life, that brings up stuff that doesn't make you feel good, that makes you feel uncomfortable. That is when you have to have faith because that is the bridge to alignment. How do you align with your authentic self? By doing the work, by doing the inspired work. Okay. And how do we recognize that again? What does that look like? What does inspired work look like? Okay. It's clear, it's aligned with your values. It's a little scary, but deeply right. I got that. Did I just not say that? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Um, hallelujah. Mm-mm-mm. Inspired action does not shout, it whispers. So there is something for those who read the book. I talk about whispers. You can share it if you want to in the comments. But inspired action doesn't shout, it whispers. So what does that say to you? For those who read the book who know what I'm talking about, what is that for you? What is that? That is your thing. That's something again, it comes from within. Inspired action comes from within. It doesn't always make sense to others, okay? But it makes peace for you. Okay. That is too how you know that it's inspired action because somebody may be like, why are you going in this direction? And only you know why, because you got the bubble guts. You got the inspired action from inside, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. So yes, we are moving right along. Y'all know I like to get through this, but this one is actually giving me some joy. So I don't know how long I'm going to be here with you guys. All right. All right. Alignment with movement. So let's reflect. What does life what does life being nudged look like for you? What has life been nudging you to do? Okay. We're going to get into our journal prompts. I hope you have your uh what's that? Journals, your notebooks, your papers and pens. All right. So yeah, wanting to stay in the comfort zone. See, we don't want to do nothing because we want to get out the comfort zone and it's not going to be comfortable. Inspired action probably is not comfortable. Right. For several reasons. Because that all of it is to shift you. All of it is to grow. I was just before the podcast, one of the things that I was doing, I was on a panel with a group of ladies, and we were talking about an upcoming retreat, which the theme for the retreat this year is Welcome to the Wilderness. My girl here, your girl on the cover, is in the wilderness. She's in the wilderness. We are in the wilderness. And the wilderness is not necessarily, think about this. Okay. If you're in the woods and you're lost, right? And if you've been looking and you can't find your way out, do you just sit there and rot, or do you keep going and try to find your way out? What are you going to do? or somebody's gonna come rescue you. Hope that some maybe somebody will rescue you, or are you going to keep moving? And there's no slight either way, you know what I'm saying? But that's something that you have to resonate. It has to click for you. So in the same way that in this self work, it's like, what are your goals? Some people aren't ready for transformation. Some people are comfortable in their situation, you know, and that's okay. But some people are ready to go. They're ready to move. Frustration. If you have frustration, you're probably not comfortable. You're not comfortable. You're complacent. So comfortability and complacency are two different things. But anyway, journal prompts. I got off topic, so I just wanted to give you some time to get your journals. Okay, prepare journals for those people who are new who didn't bring it at the beginning of class. But you know, let's see. What is my next yes? So the journal prompts for this week is what's something I've been feeling nudged to do but have not taken action. It could be a conversation. It could be self-care. It could be a lot of things. What are you being nudged to? Is it could be to go to the gym. It could be to write the book. It could be to drink more water. It could be to eat healthier. It could be to call that person that you haven't talked to in a long time. It could be anything. Cut your hair. Get a new hairstyle. Do anything. What are you going to say yes to? What fear, doubt, or excuse is standing in my way? Why haven't you done the thing that you feel nudged to do? Why haven't you cut your hair? Why haven't you taken a vacation? Why? And where does that come from? What is it? And because until you identify even the thing that is holding you back, you won't know it. You have to call a thing. And that's what we do here a lot. We call things things. We call them what they are. Okay. We don't judge them. We just call them what they are. All right. And then the last one is what's one small action I can take in the next 24 hours to move in alignment with my vision? Mm. Mhm. And again, if you don't know, it's okay. It's okay if you don't know. Okay. You might not know because you might be looking around you and you don't see an answer. You don't see any clues on the outside. So I implore you, law of correspondence, go within. Get quiet, meditate, journal it out. Even if you start to I came to so many conclusions in my personal life through journaling. I would start my journaling exercises with blank thoughts. And I would say that I don't know what I'm going to write right now. I have no clue what I want to say. I don't even know why I'm journaling right now. And I would say it that bluntly because something was like journal, but I didn't know what to write. I did not know what to. I did not know what I was going to journal about. I didn't know what I didn't want to say anything, but something said journal, and so I was like, well, if I'm a journal, I have to say what I feel, which is nothing right now. And as I'm doing the action, right? As I'm doing the action, something always came up. Something always came out of that, even if it was, even if it was a deep revelation always came out of it. Something always came out of it, even if it was the why I didn't want to write. Because if I know why I don't have the inspiration to write, now I can kind of do something about it versus just being like, well, I don't know. And that really is just not acceptable. Yeah. For myself, I don't know. It's not acceptable for myself. So even if you don't know, even if you don't know what small action you can take right now, that is the action. The action of not knowing is an action, okay? The action of rest is an action. I want to be clear like that. Rest is an action. There's sometimes your body, the whisper will be sit down. Sometimes the whisper will be quiet. And in those moments, you do the inspired action. Okay, you do the inspired action. Oh my gosh, I think I have a Plum run out of stuff. Let's see. Here we go. Corlin Jones says, feeling compelled and prompted are words I like being inspired. Or I use like being inspired, and currently it is whispering, the practice of being and abiding. Amen. Okay. All right, sir. All right. I really do appreciate you all for being here today. I hope that you are getting something from these laws. Okay, again, shout out to Patricia Glenn who got them right. The four laws before this were the law of oneness that says that we are all connected. All right. Everything is connected. We are all connected. The second law is the law of vibration that says that everything has a frequency. Everything vibrates. Okay. All right. There's different degrees of it, but everything has a vibration. Then the law of correspondence says so within as as within, so without. So whatever you have going on in your internal world, it's going to be reflected on in your external world. Okay. And so that one is kind of hard to digest, but that's one of the ones, if you can really understand that, then you have more power. When you can accept some things versus denying and resisting the things, then you gain more power. And then we had the law of attraction, which I said is more about you attracting what you be versus attracting what you think. So again, remember, you get who you are, you get what you are, not what you want. So when you take into the vibration in your correspondence, then you can start to be in alignment and attract those things that you want. And then when you put some inspired action behind it, man, that's like you become the baker man. You you become like you become the baker's man. Again, we said, what did I say? I said you become co-creator with God, with the universe. God needs us. I want to be clear with that. God God needs us, and we need God. Okay. God, your alignment with your authentic self allows God to use you, allows the energy to flow through you, allows you to vibrate, because we're all connected. So when you are in alignment, then these are the things that happen. You become, again, the wonderful, beautiful thing that I said, you get to become a co-creator. You become an active participant, active partner with the universe. And that is a very powerful, it's a great responsibility, and it's something that can shift your life. All right. So that is it for today. Y'all know I'll be getting in and out of here quickly, but real quick, so I can give you some things that the things that are going on, so that you can know what is happening out here in the world. As you know, I am an author. I have my book, Do the Work, Keep the Faith. It is available online at Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Books a Million. It's available in Canada, Australia, and South America. It's available worldwide. So please take the time to support this journey. It has been one of great faith in aligning, taking steps when I was afraid to do them. Okay, taking steps when I wasn't motivated to do it, because it doesn't always mean, it's not always fear, right? Laziness can get in our way. right? But we have to understand where laziness is coming from, and that's why the work is important. The work that is you is important because you have to start to understand the motivations for the things that you do. When you understand what you're motivated to do and why you're motivated to do things, the inspired action, then you can see the results that you're having. Okay, oh, you know i was just on the I was just on a hamster wheel, because a lot of times we do things out of habit, we do things out of repetition, we do things out of conditioning, right? But inspired action is a more mindful thought process, it's a more mindful thing. So the inspired action may be to get off the hamster wheel. How do I do that? I don't know how to get off the hamster wheel. Come talk to me. I can help you. I can help you. I can help you. All right. And like I was saying before, I must love green because this is a whole different green shirt. um as I was saying before this podcast, I was on a panel with some other women who are going to be at the the Will of Wellness retreat that's going to be taking place August 22nd and 24th in Cambridge, Maryland, where I will be one of the speakers. This will be my third year, and again, we're talking about welcome to the wilderness. So, what is it that you're willing to pay? For your freedom. That's my topic. That's what I'll be talking about. I'm excited about all of the things that are happening. Again, thank you all for your support. I greatly appreciate it. For everybody who's bought the book, people continue to buy the book. People continue to support the book. I'm working on some other things around the book. It's just a really exciting time. It's really, really, truly exciting time, and I am grateful. I'm excited and I'm grateful and I'm blessed and I'm honored, and you know, I'm open. I'm open to whatever it is that God would have me do. hmm I am in alignment. I feel as though I am in alignment, and I continue to take those steps to do the work, because even after you do the work, right, and you get to a point where you're getting into this flow, and you may be in the stream of abundance, right, and you're flowing in the stream of abundance, you don't just stop swimming. You keep swimming, you might drown. But you keep flow, but you don't have to stroke as hard, because that's what inspired action do. It'll give you a flow. You don't your stroke doesn't have to be. You can even take a back. You can even do a backstroke, but you better not just not do nothing. But you better get in there. You can do your backstroke, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do. But do something, okay? Do something. Take inspired action for your life. Do something that's going to help you get to the other side. The law of inspired action reminds us that the universe responds to movement, okay? Because movement, energy, and motion. So that's what I want you to understand too about emotions, real quick. Emotions are energy in motion. I'm sorry, did I say emotions? I'm sorry. Emotions is our energy in motion. That's how it moves, through our sadness, through our joy, through our laughter. Okay. So even that, of being mindful of your feelings, is important. It responds to movement, especially the kind that comes from our soul. So you don't need to have a perfect plan. You just need to be open to your next yes. What I just said, I'm open. So if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Move, move, do the thing that you've been feeling in your gut. Whatever, man. And sometimes it doesn't look pretty. It's coming up to. It's coming up as I'm closing out. It doesn't look pretty. It might be a hard conversation that you might have to have with somebody to say, "Look, I love you, but this is not going to work." God's going to give you the words. He's going to create the space, the grace, all of those things. If you just have the conversation, You just got to have the conversation. If you don't have the conversation, guess what? It's still trapped with you. You're still stuck in your mind. You're still thinking about it. The relationship still frayed or in limbo, or you're still holding on to it. Free yourself. Free yourself. So either have a conversation or don't, whatever. But do it, right? Gently, boldly, honestly, but move. Whatever you do, move. All right. Thank you for joining me tonight. Please share. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to encourage you. I'm going to provide you some homework, in addition to remembering what the laws are and practicing them for yourself. Please share this episode if it spoke to you, or if any of them spoke to you. Whatever your favorite introducing podcast episode was, share it with somebody who you think may benefit from it. Okay. And next week, we're going to be stepping into the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. That's a lot. The perpetual transmutation of energy. So that show might be longer because it's going to take me longer just to say the law, but we're going to get into that next week. But this one was very, 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 very powerful, very, very timely, very, very much in alignment. I had nothing to do with it. It was all God. All I did was show up. My doing was being present. I said yes to doing a podcast. I said yes to writing a book. That's what I said. And God has created ways and means and alignment that I could not have planned for if I wanted to. I could not have planned for any of it. Okay? I couldn't plan for it. When I created this book cover, I didn't know what it was going to be like. Who knew I was going to be talking about the wilderness? God knew. And that's why we have to follow the lead, right? Take the action, but follow his lead, because he will lead you. He knows the plans, right? What is that? I know the plans that I have for you. I don't know the scripture number, a book, or whatever, but I know the words. I know the plans that I have for you. And so if he knows the plans, if he got the blueprint, why would I not want to take the actions that are going to help me get those things that the plan is set for me? That's all I have for today. That is it. That is all. I have no more. I will see you all next week. Again, we're going to be talking about the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, which is a very, very, very interesting one as well. Okay? Because this life is your life, and what you do with it is what you do with it, but it is your life. All right, guys. Until next week. Peace, love, blessings. I love you all. I really, truly, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I get great joy from this. Yes, for being here, being the host. And until next week, I love you, and keep doing the work and keeping it going.